Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail.
I had to find a way to get my health back. I felt that Western medicine had failed me. I had no choice but to figure it out on my own.
We're in the midst of an accelerated collective unraveling.
We have outgrown the paradigm that we were in.
We are living in unprecedented times. We're seeing changes on levels that have never really been seen before.
Modern medicine today, in my opinion, does not treat the whole individual.
So they're constantly treating symptoms, but they're not looking at the root cause.
Modern medicine is amazing at heroics. If you need a heart transplant, if you have something really wrong, that's the place to go. But if you want to prevent ever being there, then you need the alternatives.
Other modalities that can improve health and healing in humans that address the other parts of our biological systems.
In order to really heal someone, you have to really look at the mind, the body, the emotions, and bring it into a balance.
When you fix something at the energetic level, the body naturally repairs itself.
It wasn't until after sound and light therapy sessions that my severe cardiovascular stress was completely eliminated, along with chronic asthma and 23 years of migraine headaches.
We have been conditioned out of who we really are. We have failed to trust our own instincts and innate nature. Our body is the greatest healer.
If you don't listen to the whispers, you get the nudges. And if you don't listen to the nudges, you get the hammer.
The sound, the music, the warmth, those things change your frequency pattern. And then that changes you, changes the body.
For instance, at Stanford University, they're regenerating heart tissue by using specific acoustics. We start to educate ourselves on real food, hydration, energy.
So his thing is, you should have tried yoga, meditation, breath work, energy medicine, whatever, before you come to the doctor and ask for a pill.
To have non-invasive forms of medicine, to treat the soul.
Everything we need is in our body. All we have to do is begin to access parts of our body that we have become engineered out of being aware of.
The way they teach that in physics is that you have a room full of grandfather clocks. And all the small clocks are doing one thing, the pendulums are all moving, doing their own thing. You put a big grandfather clock in there, you come back in a couple of days, all the small ones have synced with the big one.
We create a new world by creating a new world within ourselves.
You will have to think differently.
We need to shift into a new mindset.
We are all one.
We don't evolve alone.
Love is that which unifies.
The future is created out of the decisions that we're making right here and right now.
There are many roads to healing, and the more choices we have, the easier it is to manage our own well-being.
Hey, everybody. Listen, thank you for joining us today. I have to tell you all that I've been doing this 20 years, and I have been involved in a number of different things along the way, but I didn't really appreciate them until my own experiences of unwellness, of the environment, of watching things come apart I just, we hear about things, but I have to say it's time. It's time. And I don't know what other signs, what other proof, what other evidence. I don't know what else we need to wake up. But my very special guest here, Gail Lynn, does. I want to introduce you to Gail. But what I want to say about Gail is going to be so brief, so short. You're probably all going to wonder in a minute here, did she really, really, really create this film? The answer is yes. Gail Lynn, inventor, author, filmmaker. What is the question? Can innovation lead to healing? Can healing lead to innovation? The film that we're talking about right now, and you're going to hear, this pioneer in frequency healing, which I happen to know about firsthand. Why? Because I was very, very, very sick. Sick, mystery disease, 2004. Nobody could figure it out. Nobody in conventional medicine could figure it out. So what am I talking about here today? This film is more than just a visionary film. For me, the film, it's time. It's really an ultimatum. It is so important for us to do this. And I have to tell you that what Gail does to narrate this film, to tell her own story, the things that are keeping you up at night because you cannot sleep are all part of this. Today, I want you to meet somebody so incredibly innovative, yet practical, visionary, yet reality, time of now, futuristic, and yet past literally. And what do I mean by all those things? You have to take it all and put it together to realize that if we don't stop for a minute and realize it's time, time will be up. Gail, thank you for joining me here today. Thank you so much for everything you've done, all the effort, whatever it is that got you up one day that said, I have got to make this film. Send me a bottle of that, would you?
Oh my gosh, so good to be here. Thank you. Oh my gosh, what an amazing introduction. And yeah, every day I was saying to myself, it's time to take our power back. It's time for more love. It's time for more kindness. It's time to listen to our bodies. It's time, it's time, it's time. And it's, you know what? I had one of my coaches tell me, he said, your next phase of what you're going to do is a film. And I said, I don't know. I know how hard this is because I've done one and almost had a nervous breakdown at the end of it in 2007. And I said, I can't do it. I can't do it. And, basically God, source, universe, creator, whatever word you use, said, yeah, you're going to do this. I said, okay, well, then you better show me the way.
Yeah, somebody has to do it, and somebody had to do this. There have been other films that have come out by celebrities and so forth, but they didn't quite tell the story that you told. I want to ask you this question. For people listening, it's time. For people listening, you could fill in the blanks yourself. It's time, ... Fill in the blank. But at a global level, let's talk about what the message is and what the many people that contributed to this, including yourself, what was the bell that rung in their heads to say, we got to have a powerful voice here? What was it for you, Gail? Let's start with you.
Oh gosh. So it was about my sickness, the same with you. I had a sickness and I was on the verge of an instant heart attack, severe cardiovascular stress, just trying to prove myself in corporate America. So when that came to be, I thought, you know what, it's time to make some changes. Otherwise I will be 6 feet under. And so I knew that this was coming. And I watched my mom and dad die of medical error deaths. And I've watched a lot of that generation just blindly follow what the medical system says. And I want people to listen to their bodies. I want people to say, okay, there's something going on. I know there's something going on. And use the doctor as your partner, not the director of your life, but as your partner to say, okay, I feel in the right side here. Can you check my AST, my ALT, my BUN numbers for my liver? Can we see what's going on here? Because I'm having extreme pain in my right side. we need to start listening to our
Yeah.
bodies. If we knew our bodies as well as we knew these cell phones and all
Oh,
the apps, oh my gosh, we'd be amazingly healthy.
yeah. I want to hit on a stat that you bring up. I believe it's a statistics in the film. Um, when I started this 20 years ago, one of the first things I did was I had found out about myself through my illness and neurological testing. And I found out, like, whatever the neurological testing that I got for about a year, that I was what they call neurodivergent. I think that's the modern day term or whatever. But when I started the film, I started to interview people about autism. I had a couple of friends that had autism. I started to interview people, and I remember the interviews, and what they would say about it is, oh, yeah, 1 in 1,000 people. Okay. By the time I was done with the series, it wasn't 1 in 1,000 people. And I believe you mentioned this in the film as well. Let's just talk about this for a minute, because statistics are great, especially when they show us a pattern and they show us something that you can eliminate a lot of the causes for, that will pinpoint what's going on. But you touch on autism in the film as well.
Correct. We brought Susie Miller in, and you had mentioned too just a few minutes ago about the cast. I didn't want Bruce Lipton and Joe Dispenza and Greg Braden because they've already said what they needed to say. And I thought people are going to be like,
Yes.
oh, that's Bruce Lipton. I've heard everything. So I
Oh,
brought in a cast that I thought would be dynamic and really give
yeah.
some great messages. And there's a lot of people out there like yourself that are going to watch it, and it's affirmations. Yep. Oh, exactly. Yes, that's what I've been saying. It's time for that. And there's going to be people out there that really say, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea." And so I made it short, 50 minutes. I didn't want to bore people. I get bored very easily. And like, you can blast through this and watch it. So we brought on Susie Miller because we thought she has the greatest information with autism. She wrote the book Awesomeism. She understands the autistic community with her background, her education. And when she first started, it was 1 in 10,000. And now
Yes.
it's like 1 in 43. If you look at just certain pockets of demographics, I think in Orange County, California, and don't quote me on this, it's 1 in 20.
Yeah.
So what is happening? There's so much toxins. There's so many more we've looked at the vaccine schedule, not to criticize. I mean, I've been fully vaccinated and I've gotten yellow fever to travel and different things to travel.
Oh,
But if
yeah.
we look at the schedule and what they do to these little babies now, I think when I was a baby, there were, let's say a dozen shots. Now there's 3 dozen shots. So I think that might be contributing to it, but I don't think anybody really has the answer. The toxic environment, the toxic foods, the stress in the world, and the stress on these children when they have parents who now have this baby that doesn't really have an instruction manual, and they have to navigate this
Yeah.
knowing that their child is different. How do they do that? And when Susie explains this, we've done many interviews together, and she explains it that the autistic community will take on some of the stresses of their loved ones. And so, banging their head against the wall. And then you hear the mom say, I bang my head against the wall every day, but yet the autistic boy is literally and physically doing this. So
Exactly.
she's teaching people to how to navigate that. And I think she's just such a beautiful soul on this planet right now.
Yeah. I would love that and please let me just comment on two things. I am so glad you didn't look, I have, in 20 years, I've interviewed all those people, but this film needed something new. It needed fresh perspectives. It needed people that were going to really be in the frequency and vibration of you. It needed people that were not going to say the same thing over and over again that they've been saying 20 years. And that's what I loved about it. And boring? No, 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 people will not get bored. Look, this is, I just shared this on a show. My mom went through Hurricane Andrew and lost everything and didn't refuse to move. She stayed there because she was a realtor. She wanted to help people rebuild their homes. And I said to her, Mom, what do you think happened? I was asking a very practical question. She said, Mother Earth was crying, and our jobs is to help her wipe her tears. Isn't that part of what the message is you're trying to give us here today?
Absolutely. And I think our bodies are crying. And when Deborah speaks about, and Deborah was a like kind of a stand-in. So Stephen Ross has the Wisdom Library. We interviewed him. His wife and partner is Deborah. And I came to their home to interview Stephen, and she said, you know, when we don't listen to the whispers, we get the nudges. When we don't listen to the nudges, we get the hammer.
The hammer.
And I said, you know what, Deborah, get into makeup. You're going on the film. She's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I don't want to be in the film. And, you know, well, she really did, but she was, you know, you get scared when someone says, we're going to turn the camera on you. We need to say this in the film because people will stub their toe. They'll have a knee replacement, you know, and the emotions around the knees are inflexibility, stubbornness, not wanting to move forward, and then they hurt their shoulder. So they're getting the whispers and the nudges, and then the next thing you know, they've got a chronic illness with, you know, cancer or, you know, something degenerative, but they weren't listening to the whispers or the nudges.
Yeah.
And we have to listen to our body. Our bodies are crying. They're sending us messages all the time. We've got to sit in silence and we've got to listen, and then we can hear.
And that's what I wanted to say. My mom started to get not well. And she rephrased that statement and said exactly what you said. But she said, my body is crying tears. And I cannot find, this is her, she's passed.
Yeah.
I cannot find a way to wipe them. And, you know, I hadn't been at that point in time, I hadn't had my own healing journey. But look at where you are today. Our bodies are crying. These are messages for us to do something. And what you do in this film, by the way, is you give us information, solutions, you give us stories, you bring experts to the table. It's not just who these people are that are in the film, it's how they speak about this that's so powerful. And how you narrated this is so extremely powerful. If I had more time, maybe on the next interview, I'm going to ask you who you channeled, okay? And it can't be Elvis because I channel Elvis. But but you understand what I'm trying to say. What you've put together here to make this film is harmonic. It's harmony.
I went through 55 edits. I'm no joke, 55 edits because I said, you know, we need to put this here. We need this here. And then I had a focus group of my neighbors here in this, you know, neighborhood come over, and I chose these neighbors very selectively and said, what did you think? And I remember one of my neighbors said, I don't know what sacred geometry is. I said, oh, so I had to change the narration. We already filmed. So I started to insert, and I wasn't going to be the narrator, but I thought I have to be the narrator because people aren't understanding what are the chakras? What is sacred geometry? So I narrated it to fit it together, 55 edits. And I said, this is it. This feels good. This is what we need to put out. And some of my team was like, Gail, it's not enough information. It's too short. And I said, no, this is exactly perfect. And we got to get it out before the election and the USA, the election, because we're going to be a lot more divided. And I wanted this message of stop judging, be more kind. We're all one, and let's do more things with love. I needed that message out. So I blasted this documentary out in just 9 short months.
Okay, now you told me like a little secret. I would have never, look, I do this for a living. I would have never, ever picked up that you post-edited the narration, because here's what I love. I can't wait to send this to Bob Parsons. I interviewed Bob Parsons. He's the founder of GoDaddy. I had a great interview with him. I can't wait to send this to him along with this interview. There's something in the way this was put together that I don't have words for. I can't explain the words. It's hard to explain. But you watch it and you get emotional, and it hits us at a place where I think we're breaking through the veil, where, in my language, we're busting through the crust, and you're hitting a nerve. And it's not a nerve You know, I have done a lot of protests about the environment. I've done a lot of protests. I don't know if you even know this. I was an advocate for Lyme disease awareness, which nobody still recognizes anymore. But we were pounding doors down. I wish I would have done a film like this about it. I want to ask you this question. You have a goal. How do people get the film? Let's give out the website. Let's make sure people know how to get this, pay it forward, pass it on, please.
Correct. Even though it's funny that I put out a lot of cash flow to do this, my guides, my spirit guide said, you're going to offer this for free because this message has to be given to everybody without any barriers. And I thought, okay, well, how am I going to return on investment? Well, they said, don't worry about it. So it's time.love. It's on YouTube. It's on Rumble. It is for free. I just want 1 million people to be reached. If 1 million people will do one more thing in love and kindness, if that's all that the movie does, we could change the world.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. I had never been asked early on in this journey. Look, I didn't sign up to do positive centric talk video. I did not. But like you, was put into place accidentally, no accident, and here I am. And I get asked now, I get asked questions now about how did you come up with it? Very interesting. Let's talk sacred geometry for a minute. You and I know, and we have it in our websites. We do it. We don't call it that, but we know the power of it. And I want to talk to you about this because the healing modalities that I use go back ancient to times when that was a form of communication. As a matter of fact, I mentioned Bob Parsons. He is the first person ever to comment on our logo, the Transformation Network logo, in detail. But this is all frequency and energy. Can we fast forward to today by going back in time and talk about how we must save the past healing modalities coupled with the future and technology of frequency? Can you talk to that? Now, you talk to it in a film, but I'm really asking you, is this an important part of your message?
It really is. And you'll notice on my logo, the E has a spiral and the I is dotted with a golden egg.
Yes.
And that's not an accident. So I believe that all of these ancient technologies were suppressed because of greed. And we talk about it in the film. And we're vibrational beings of light and sound from source, from creator, from God. And why aren't we healing with sound and light? It's non-invasive. We know that Eastern medicine has talked about the colors and the chakras. I learned how the waveforms of instruments can affect the different organs and systems of the body. And I've put that together with light. So we have the sound and we have the light. Bring that together. Edgar Cayce said a long time ago, if we could bring together the spiritual forces of sound and the spiritual forces of light, we'd have an amazing modality for the future. And then he passed away in the 1940s. We had Royal Rife. We had Wilhelm Reich with the Oregon box. We had Tesla and Einstein saying the medicine of the future is frequencies and vibrations. And we had this, and no one's listening. And I think it took somebody to not live in fear, me, and say, okay, I got the message. Many people got the message. It's universal wisdom, but no one did anything with it. So I created the chamber, the harmonic egg, to encompass sound and light therapy. And I can't believe the testimonials. I can't believe the people coming in and saying how profound it is, and saying, I had a lady in yesterday and she said, I feel either grief or sadness or guilt or shame because I wasn't there when my mother passed away. And we set her intention. She did a session. Her mother came and visited her, and she came out of the egg and said, I now understand that it was okay that I wasn't there. To help her heal on that level, in a 50-minute session, so she doesn't suppress those emotions and create a lung disease because she suppressed grief, or create a liver disease because she suppressed We need to release these emotions. We need to release this. We need to forgive ourselves. We need to understand our bodies and where we're storing these emotions, because this emotions is what creates the disease. So I really feel like the ancients knew how to take the flute and heal the liver, and how to take the didgeridoo and to heal bones. They knew this. That was ingrained in them. So I visited Egypt and I visited Greece, and I really asked the land to please share with me what I need to know to create the harmonic egg. This was years of travel and going to these temples and really tuning into the energies there, and asking and pleading, please give me something that I can help the planet and I can help the people on the planet to heal without the side effects, without getting cut open, without taking a pill. And there's a time and a place for that. If I break my leg, I'm going to the hospital because I need to get it set. If my blood pressure is 200 over, 180, I'm going to get something to, until I can realize what the root cause is. We love the Western medicine to help us with emergencies.
Yeah, but let's get to that, because I think the film really brings us back to, let me use the word root for a minute. It has us go back to a place within ourselves, just like the harmonic, just like the egg. I mean, you and I understood frequency. Why? Well, I was not doing well. And how do we know this works? My best friend was very, very sick last year and literally going to die if the day after I got there on the day to get it in time. But how did I get it? Did I call 500? Yes, of course we went to the doctor, but that's not what that's not what I brought in immediately. I brought in remote healing for her. I brought in vibration. I brought in light language. You can all look this up. She's alive. She recovered. She had no medication to recover the first week. All we had was this. And there's vibration in some of the things, this supplemental nutrition we take. Well, I only get it from the best place because it's all vibration. Now, we're going to do several interviews, but there's a perfect message today that I want you to leave us with, because I don't want people to get as sick as I got, and I'm sure you don't. Next show we do, I really do want to talk about the fact that it took me time to clean up decades of mess in this body, just to be clear. What's your message today for people? What do we want to leave people with? Because this is a film that goes beyond hope. It's hope in solution as well. What do you want to say to people today?
I just want people to realize that they need to start loving themselves. If we don't love ourselves, we can't receive love, and everything is in balance. We have left and right, up and down, as above, so below. And if you don't love yourself, you can't receive love. And I think that that is a really big message, that our most important relationship in this whole planet, in the world, is with us, me. That's my most important relationship. And that's what we have to fix within ourselves before we can go out and take our power back, fix anyone else, help anyone else, serve anyone else. It starts here. And we heal individually and we heal in community, but first individually.
Gail, there's so much more to talk about. And I want to just ask you this. Let's prepare everybody for what we're going to talk to next. In the next show, we're going to go through and speak a bit about what some of these incredible people that you got to speak with, what were some of the key things they've said? The hammer thing, I love the hammer thing. We don't want to get to the place where we're hit by a hammer to wake up. But let's talk for a minute, if we could. Let's bring this forward to the next time we meet. I'm excited about hearing some sound bites from some of these folks. What was it like for you in hearing them up close and personal?
Oh my gosh, it was so exciting, actually, because Penny Kelly has been somebody that I've admired and listened to her work and read her books. And I thought, there's no way she's going to agree to this. Not only did she agree, she let us film in her home in Michigan. She invited us all to come to her home, and she's just a lovely soul. Cynthia, I didn't think Cynthia Andrews would agree to do this, because she's busy. She's huge. And the one thing, when I was sitting there, I was making notes, what I thought would be key points to put in the editing, because we have 20 hours of footage. We're releasing the bonus footage on a weekly basis so that you can hear more of what they said. And then I'm doing a book. Every cast member is going to have a chapter in the book. I will self-pub it, and then they'll have actionable steps for you. But Cynthia said, and I think this was the most profound thing for me, is that our language is coded with emotions. And so I say love to you, Dr. Pat, and you conjure up your own definition of it. And so do I. And so will everybody else. Then I say money. Oh my gosh, you say money to people and that conjures up something. So we have to learn that our words are coded with emotions, and we have to have a new language going forward to communicate. And when she said that, it just was like big light bulbs. Exactly. Why do we misunderstand each other? Are we misunderstanding everybody's path is their own journey? And why are we judging? And she was also the one that I started the film with her quote, "Judgment is the only thing that separates us." Yeah. What if we could have no judgment and just love each other?
That was our universal birth, you know. We were universally born in love. Yeah. When a baby is born and brought into this world, generally speaking, that's the energy that comes forth.
They only
Gail,
know love. And animals only know love. Children
that's all
only
they
know
know.
love up until a certain point.
Yeah.
And so they heal so quickly, because it was a profound message from a doctor one time told me. He goes, I said, how come the kids heal so fast? How come the animals heal so fast? He said, Gail, they only know love. And if we only knew love, we can all heal so quickly.
That's a great way to end this. Gail, one more time, please give out your website and tell people the many, many things you're doing that they could find out more.
It's time.love is the film, and harmonicegg.com is my website with Harmonic Egg. I have a book. We'll have another book coming, and we have consciously created music that people can purchase with song sheets on how to use that music at home, to use color and sound at home.
Thank you. And we'll make sure all of that is in this video for all of you. And you will also receive multiple newsletters from us on how Gail and I move forward on this to bring this beautiful, beautiful energy and frequency forward. The power of this has no words. Gail, thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you all for tuning us in. Please, please, please go to the website. Get the movie, pay it forward. Doesn't get any better than that. We'll see you next time.